episode of Anyone Can Cook. And for this evening's recipe, we're going to be making pretty easy homemade salsa, Pico de Gallo, salsa fresca, which means fresh salsa. Since we're having some fajitas tonight, I thought it'd go nicely with that, and I hadn't made any in a while. It's good with all kinds of stuff. Chips, tacos, fajitas, just about anything. You can eat it right out of the jar as far as that goes. Right, and what you're going to need for this recipe is some fresh Roma tomatoes, jalapenos, a red onion, a white onion, some cloves of fresh garlic, some fresh cilantro, some black pepper, some coarse sea salt, chili powder, cumin, and some fresh limes. I'll give you the quantities that I'm going to use. I'm going to be making enough to fill these 2 jars, maybe a little bit more. So I really don't have any specific measurements to tell you to use. You're just going to have to be your own judge on that. But I will tell you how much I'm using during this recipe, and we'll show you at the end how much it makes. And we can even measure it to see what we come up with. It's just wing it. It's, you know, sometimes you get 9, sometimes you get 12. All right, for everybody that doesn't know what this is, it's to sharpen your knife with. So a good sharp knife works real good. Only thing is about cutting a tomato, it's got to be super sharp. And I can't use this like a lot of people can and get that razor edge on there. So what I use when I cut tomatoes is a serrated knife. You can use a bread knife like this one, just anything with a serration on the edge, a serrated steak knife. I'm going to cut the end of it off right here. Alright, I'm going to make about 2 slices right down the tomato like that, and I'm going to slice it 2 times the other way. All right, and you can chop this fine. No, I wouldn't chop it fine. Just a nice coarse chop. And then look here. Watch how easy this is. See that? Get some nice little tomato cubes right there. And then we'll just take and cut the end of it off like that. Alright. Then take and discard the ends. Alright, now for this recipe, I'm going to start off with about 10 of these Roma tomatoes. And you don't have to use Romas. You can use slicing tomatoes. I think they have beef eater tomatoes. They're really big ones. Just whatever you prefer, but I like the Romas. So I'm going to try about 10 of these, and I'll get back to you when I got these cut up. Finished cutting up the tomatoes. I got 11 Roma tomatoes in the bowl. I'm going to cut up my jalapenos now. I'm going to put 4 in there and look at it. See what it looks like. You can just eyeball a lot of these. Just cut the stem off. I always cut the bottom off. Now if you don't like it really hot, I would suggest that you take the pulp and the seeds out right there. And just remove, whoops, remove that. Scrape the seeds out, but me, I leave them in there because I like it spicy. But just showing you how to do that right there, and then you can take them to the sink and just wash all that seed out of there. See, it's not that hard. You can butcher it up if you want to. But anyway, like that over there out of the way. Like I said, I just did that to show y'all how to get that out of there. I'm going to dice these up fairly fine. I don't like big chunks of jalapeno. On the rest of them, I'll be leaving the seed leaving the seed and pulp in, but just kind of julienne them like that. That's what that's called when you cut them like that. That's julienne. Yeah, but y'all didn't know I knew that. And then we're just gonna dice them up like so. Alright, I'm gonna put 4 of these jalapenos in there, and when I get everything mixed together at the end, I'm just gonna see if the colors all look good together. See if it needs a little more green or a little more red or some more white. You know what I mean? Alright, back in a minute. I'm fixing to dice up these onions. I'm going to do it just like I did my tomatoes. Make some long slices across there. Don't go all the way down. Almost. Leave a little bit on the end. And then we're going to slice it the other way. Just like so. I'm going to cross cut them. Kind of like a blooming onion. Like so. And I'm just going to take and run my knife right down the side of it. I'm going to do about half of this white onion like that. And then I'm going to do half of a red onion. Get one more good little bit off there. Alright, I'm going to save that for something else. And here we go into the Pico de Gallo. And there goes the red or purple onion, whatever you want to call it. We might have a little bit too much onion to tomato ratio. We'll give that a little toss. Look at it. You can always add more tomatoes or more of whatever you need. And for those of y'all that don't like the jalapenos, you can use a bell pepper or a sweet pepper. Can't you tell they're getting to me? Ooh, teary-eyed. And that'll give it some nice flavor and without the heat. Alright, now for my next move, I'm going to show y'all how to do some garlic here. We got about 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, fresh garlic here. Watch this neat little trick. Watch this. Take and lay it down right there. Look, see that skin comes right off like that. Look at that. And all you got to do is dice it like that, but be careful. You will take the tip of your finger off if you got a good knife. Alright. Now remember, in garlic, the whole piece is called a bulb. One of the pieces that break off is a clove. So you don't want 3 bulbs of garlic in there. You want 3 bulbs. And then the bulbs break down into little pieces like this. Alright. This is a clove. Alright. Comes off of a bulb. And then the clove breaks down into little pieces like this. I got about 4 of these in there. Okay? And then let me show you one more time. Just take and lay it down there. Put your knife blade over it. Whoops, about got away. And most of the time the skin comes right off. See that? See, look how it just peels right off. And you can take the whole bulb and you can put it in a jar of some sort and throw it in that jar and shake it up, and it'll pretty much come apart by itself. See that right there? And we just dice this up like so. There's a certain way that a really good chef uses a knife. They don't put their fingertips out there like I'm doing. You're supposed to turn your hand like this. That way you won't cut the tip of your finger, but I can't hold stuff like that, so it doesn't work too well for me. We'll just give this a nice dice. Alright. I'll get back to y'all when I'm done with this step. Alright, that's done. Our next step is cilantro. Now you got to be careful with this. This is something else. I'm not going to give you an exact measurement. Just eyeball it. But when we get cilantro, it comes like this in a bundle. Okay? So I'm just going to take out, I don't know, few twigs. I'd go with maybe a half a cup and then look at it and taste it, because this can get real strong real quick. Alright, so we're just gonna bundle that up. Give it a real good dice. Get rid of the sticks, stems, whatever you want to call them. And I'm just going to chop that up real fine. And for those of y'all that don't like it chunky, you can put all this in a food processor. Blend it up real good. You can get whatever consistency you like. It's up to you. Normally Pico de Gallo is chunky like this and doesn't have a lot of sauce to it. But if you put it in the food processor or the blender, do whatever you want with it. It's yours. Anyone can cook something. I normally stir as I add. When I add an ingredient, I'll go and stir it in there. Let them flavors go ahead and get to marinating, whatever you want to call it. This is usually best if it sets overnight. So on to the next step here. For our next step, we're going to juice. I'm going to start with 1 lime. If you'll roll it around like this, it'll break it up. Loosen that juice up. Not only does this give it some great flavor, but it also preserves the freshness of the other ingredients you got in there. If you'll just roll it around. Well, cut it in half. I got a squeezer, fancy schmancy right here. You just throw it in there like so. And the last one I broke doing this. I was squeezing too hard, so I'm afraid this one's going to break. Just gently squeeze it. You don't want to overpower it with lime. Alright, there's half. I'm going to do another half. Alright, here's the second half of that first lime. We'll get that in there and then we're going to give it a good stir and taste it. And next up comes the seasonings. I got some coarse ground sea salt here. Open the big side. I'm going to start out with a tablespoon of everything. That ought to be plenty on the salt. Alright, since my pepper's in a grinder, I'm going to have to eyeball that. So we'll go with about a tablespoon of that as well. Best thing, eyeball it. Alright, there's the pepper. Alright, for our cumin, I'm probably just going to put a half a tablespoon of cumin in there. Don't want to overpower it. I should have pulled the top on this. We're going to call that good on the cumin. And next, chili powder. Again, this is all a matter of what you like. Start out with a half a tablespoon. I'm going to give it all a stir and see if it needs any more or any less of anything. Yeah, if you like it sweet, you can add some sugar in there. Alright, we're going to give this a nice toss. Get everything blended well. You want every bite to taste the same. That's where your ratios come in handy. And I don't have a good ratio for this. I just eyeball it. Blend it, girls, like you blend your smoky eyeshadow. Yeah. Alright, let's give this a taste. Probably need some more tomatoes in there, but we're going to let it roll. That's pretty good. I got a little much onion in there, but it doesn't bother me. think I'm going to go with another half a lime. And when this sets overnight, it's going to be really good tomorrow. But I think that's good. Another bite just to be sure. About another half a lime and that should be good. It's always better to add less than too much to start with. You can always add more, but it's hard to take away, especially on the spices. I think I got enough chili powder in there, and like I said, when this sets, it'll taste better the next day. Trust me on that. Alright, another half a lime and this is good to go. Alright everybody, I did add another half a lime to that recipe that we just went over. My yield was about 6 to 7 cups. Well, no, not even. No, that's about, what do we got right there? Got about 2.5 cups there and about 2.5 cups there. So we got about 5 cups yield out of the recipe we just went over. And like I said, there was a little too much onion in there. So maybe only put a half an onion to that recipe. And you don't have to mix the white and red. You can do all white, all red. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.